I'm Kyle with Amazing Landscape Services, and we're here at this property where we're going to do thatching and aerating service, and I really want to talk through the process that we do, why we do it, and some of the things that you'll notice when we do this on your property. This is the yard here. You can see that this yard has been matted down or had a really rough winter, possibly has been infested by grubs that have eaten the grass, and now it has this, you can see it's really like dense and nasty, and so we're going to do thatching and aerating to break that up and get new grass seed to grow here. Sometimes in the middle of where there is good grass, you'll see this thatch layer of moss and buildup. This isn't the best example, but oftentimes you'll see moss in the lawns. So we're gonna go through the process of renovating this lawn. This particular yard has an irrigation system, and so we ask all of our clients that have irrigation that's going to get thatched and aerated to mark their sprinkler heads. So this client has gone around, and you can see put these little red flags where the sprinkler heads are, so that our crews won't hit them with the equipment or damage them. And we're happy to provide you with these flags if you want them, or you can get them at a hardware store like Home Depot or McLendon's or something like that. And then it just really helps us to know what to stay away from. So I'm going to talk about the different equipment that we use and what it does, and what you should expect when we're doing this service for you. This is our aerator. This machine has the big barrel in the back with the plugger, and you'll see when the crew does it how it pulls out the plugs. When we pull the plugs out, it gives the roots the opportunity to grow deep and really strong roots, a strong root system, so that the grass that you see on top is also supported by a deep, robust root system. So you can see here, this is the plug that the aerator pulls out that allows the nutrients to get down into the soil. You can see it just kind of breaks all that up. You can see our process here. We run over it with the aerator first, and then right behind the aerator, the crew's going on with the dethatcher. So it's getting the thatch debris. You notice here where Efron has gone through with the thatcher, you don't see the plugs anymore because that power rake is breaking those into small pieces, and the holes are still there, the soil's still there, but you don't see it. So we get a lot of questions about did they really aerate? You can see the process. They aerate and then they go right behind with the thatcher, so that allows it to break up and just leaves us at the end of the project, it leaves us with a way better finished product. So this is a really good example of that thick thatch layer that the power rake is pulling up. You can see all this stuff is just dead and matted and gross, and so we need to get that out of there. This is our dethatcher. This machine is the power rake. So it has strong metal tines that spin around super fast, and it goes down just to the roots, and you'll see how it pulls up the debris that's between the top of the lawn and the soil and the roots. We're not tearing up the yard. We are just removing that thatch layer to allow the new seed to get into the soil and grow and give you a really nice lawn. This is our standard lawnmower. The crew uses this in the thatching and aerating process more for a vacuum cleaner than they do to mow the lawn. Once the debris gets brought to the surface, we have to either rake it up, blow it, and then also we mow it to get rid of as much as we possibly can before we put the seed down. This is the grass seed that we use. We use a 99.9% guaranteed weed-free seed. It's the exact same seed that the turf farms use here locally, and so if it's taken care of, it will and fed and fertilized and watered properly, it'll germinate relatively quickly depending on the soil temperatures and the seasonality. This year has been exceptionally wet and cool, so we've seen where the seed takes just a little bit longer to germinate than we've expected in the past. But 2-3 weeks, the seed will germinate, and 4 to 6 weeks after that, you'll have a nice lush lawn. So this is our compost and our compost roller. All the yards that we thatch and aerate, we top dress with compost. You'll see that the crew fills the compost roller with the high quality Cascade fine compost, and they'll roll this over the lawn. And as they're doing that, it's tumbling, and the fine particles are dropping into your yard to feed it with organic matter, and then also to kind of top dress and cover up the seed so that the birds don't get it and it doesn't erode quite as much. We use the highest quality compost that's available to us in this area. We use the Cascade compost fine grind. This is 100% organic. It comes from the yard waste receptacles and bins that you collect around the areas, or some of the transfer stations that when you take your yard waste in, they grind it up really good. They process it. They age it for a certain period of time. They let it heat up really hot and break down, and then they provide us with this super rich, weed-free compost. So we get a lot of questions about watering after the aeration and overseed treatment, and how much should I water, and so on and so forth. So it's tricky because we do this in the springtime where we get a lot of rain, but then it also carries over into the end of spring, early summer, where we might get a few hot days. And it's really important that you keep the seed moist. So if you have an irrigation system, we recommend that you water your normal cycle like you always would do, but then add 2 or 3 short bursts of water in the middle of the day. So maybe 5 minutes a zone, 2 or 3 times a day, maybe at 9 o'clock in the morning, noon, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then run your normal cycle at night like you normally would do, and that'll keep the seed moist and it'll germinate the fastest. We also get a lot of questions about when can I mow next. So our recommendation for mowing after thatching and aerating service is that you give it a week or so, let the grass grow, raise your lawnmower up just a little bit taller than you normally would do, and then mulch mow. So if you have a bagger on it, just take the bagger off and let the grass go back down. If you have a mulch mower, great, because then it cuts up the grass clippings and it puts that nutrients right back down into the soil, and it also creates a barrier and creates a spot to hold that moisture in just a little bit better. And then you can get right back on it a week or 2 weeks after the thatching and aerating service, and then just get right back to mowing like normal, and you'll see great results.